Condor Stealth Operator Pant. This is a pair of pants I've actually had a fair amount of requests to do a review of, and I've actually wanted to get these pants for a long time. I was interested in them for a long time, but one of my problems with them was that, you know, God knows I've got enough pairs of pants, and I couldn't quite tell some of the construction issues with them. Looking at Condor's website and anywhere else I could find information on it, there's only one other YouTube video that I think might be in French or some language I don't understand anyway, but I couldn't tell how some of the inside of the pockets were laid out. I had some questions on the back pocket, and I just didn't want to spend the money on them. I finally got to check them out at SHOT Show this year, and I said, okay, they seem decent enough, and I went ahead and bought a pair, and therefore I now get to do a video on them. Worn them a bunch of times, so I've got some opinions on what works and what doesn't work on them. Price-wise on these, around $48. They seem to vary depending on where you look for them. Comes in 3 colors, urban green, black, and khaki. Material on them, the material is listed a little bit different. On the website, it listed as 60% polyester, 37% cotton, 3% spandex. On the tag here, if I can read this upside down, says 39% polyester versus 60. 59% cotton versus 37, and 2% spandex versus 3. I think if I had to guess, I think they are what says on the website, although they feel more of the 60-30 poly cotton blend like a lot of other tactical pants do. They have ripstop finish. It's stretchy, I think, in just one direction, or two directions, I guess. This way, but not this way. So it's got the two-way stretch on it and the ripstop fabric. Comes in waist sizes from 30 to 40 inches, comes in lengths 30, 32, 34, and an unhemmed 37 inches. I think that's it for the technical specs of it. Let's go ahead and get into the construction of it. So up on top here, the waistband, there are belt loops, 2, 4, 6, 7 belt loops. Belt loops are 1.25 inches by 2 inches deep, so they'll hold plenty deep belts. The expansion points for these pants are 2 pieces of elastic, 1 on each side, under the side belt loop, and they will expand it, I'd say, about an inch or so. I like that. It's not too bulky. It doesn't have that telescoping thing that some pants have that I don't care for as much, so I think that does a good job. On the back, it's just straight across. From 2 of the belt loops, actually 4 of them, there are these large D-rings, 2 in front and 2 in back. Now these pants, Condor says, are a more sort of stealthy version of their more overt operator pant, which has a bigger cut to them. This has a little bit more slimmer cut, such that they say you can wear it, you know, as more of an everyday pant, I guess, and it will go kind of under the radar, hence the stealth name. But it has these big D-rings, 2 on the front and again, 2 on the back. I usually clip my badge onto this if I'm not wearing a scrub top that has a pocket. I would prefer, this is a personal preference, that these D-rings be a little bit smaller, either a smaller metal or just a smaller plastic. And if these are supposed to be more under the radar pants, I'm not sure that the rear ones are needed, but they're there. Again, just my personal preference. I would take 2 only in the front and a little bit smaller, but that's fine. There's a brass button here that goes down to reveal a brass YKK zipper with a big zipper pull, so it's not going to get stuck down in there like the 511 zippers do. There's no secondary closure. It's just that one button. Perfectly fine because you're going to have a belt on, hopefully. Not going to be a problem there. Not much on the inside. Condor label there. Made in China, for those that are interested. And let's move down to the pockets. Pockets on this are all symmetrical. Up in front here, there's 2 pockets. Start on the side here. It comes around and curves up a little bit. Not bad to get your hand into it. Depth-wise, I think they're about 9 inches. Yeah, about 9 inches. Part of the problem with these pockets is if you get some stuff into them, like, say, a knife and a pen, is that there's then not much room to get your hand around that. And I'll talk about some other options for that in a little bit, but the front pocket's not that big to get some stuff in there. The rear pockets, however, are actually bigger. They go much more into the center here, whereas the front pockets only come out here. Rear pockets, front pockets. So the back pocket's much wider as far as that goes, and I'll talk about some of my concerns with the back pockets in a little bit. The crotch is gusseted for your ease of movement. Diamond gusset there. The knees are articulated. 2 darts, and from the inside there's a spot to put knee pads in. It slides in from the inside, the middle aspect, medial aspect of the inside. You can put some knee pads in there if you like. Let's have a look now at the side pockets. So the front pocket and the rear pocket, you can see, just curves kind of all the way around like they do on some other manufacturers. One of the things I couldn't tell from the website was that there is this reinforced part right here. And I couldn't tell on the website if that reinforced part was stitched here or if it was just open. Turns out it's just open. One of my favorite features on pants these days is the utility pocket that the new Vertex pants have, that the True Spec pants have, and that you can stick something back here, you know, because sometimes, depending on the pants, you clip something in back here and it will have a tendency to kind of float backwards and then end up sitting on it. So I think this would be perfect. There's the reinforcement here. I'm not sure why the reinforcement is only in the back and also not in the front. Maybe that goes with the stealth side of the pants. But for me, I wish this was actually stitched down right here, making this into a little utility pocket. And I think after the video, I wanted to leave it for the video to show you how it comes. I'm actually going to take some black, to get a sewing machine and stitch this down through here on both sides to make it into a utility pocket. That way I can put my knife in here and it will stay nice and stable. For that matter, you could fit a knife and a pen back there if you like. And it should probably still fit fine. If not, I'll put the pen up in the front pocket and there'll still be plenty of space to get in there. Moving down to the side pocket here. The side pocket is huge, about 9 inches by 8 inches. So it's a huge pocket. There's a flap up here. There's one piece of Velcro here, and then there is one bellow right here. So it's a huge pocket to put some stuff in. On the website, one of the things I couldn't tell is that they had a picture of a cell phone sticking about like this out of it. And they say that there's a utility cell phone pocket on the inside, but I had no idea where it was, how big it was, how easy it was to get to. So just to show you, it sits up in the front here. It's right here. And size-wise, here's how big it is in the pocket. It sits right about there, doesn't go all the way to the bottom. About 3.5 inches by 5 3/4 inches. Is that what I measured it at? Yeah, 3.5 by 5 3/4. And it sits right about there in the pocket. Holds my Droid Max, no problem. One of my minor complaints with these pants, and I'll show you this when I put it on, is that I pull the flap up, I reach into the pocket, and this always folds under. This is a small complaint, but it folds under, that piece of Velcro catches my hand, and it's just not as comfortable as the Vertex design, not as easy as the Vertex design to get into. The Vertex design doesn't have this piece of Velcro here, and I think their pocket's a little bit smaller, so they don't need it. So for me, I would probably do a smaller pocket, not the Velcro, and I think that will stop it from kind of folding under like this. It's not a huge deal, but just after I've used these pants enough times, it's one of the issues I've had with them. But otherwise, huge pocket there on the side. And then you can see here in the knees, the darting in the knee there, 2 darts there, and a little more anatomic knee design, a little more ease of movement. Down on the bottom here, just a plain bottom, and there are no blousing strap holes. And then the rear, I already kind of showed you this, 2 large back pockets here, reinforcement here, the side pockets kind of come around to the back a little bit, 2 large D-rings, 1 big belt loop in the middle with the 2 D-rings hanging off the smaller belt loops. Give you an idea of the fit of these Condor pants. Overall, these are cut much slimmer than a lot of tactical pants, especially up in front here. They have a flat front, and it's cut a lot slimmer through here, and that's going to make a big difference in the pockets. I think it's got a little bit longer rise, and it sits a little bit up higher on your waist. With that flat front, when you walk, you can feel, pulling is not really the right word, but you can feel a little bit of snugness in your thighs here. And that makes a difference also when you're trying to get the hands into the pockets, because this is a lot more tighter fit here, almost like a jean cut pocket. Tighter to get your pants into your hands into your pockets. Otherwise, just basic layout, 2 D-rings here, 2 in back. Side pockets are pretty big. So as you can see, everything lays pretty flat. They're not overtly big tactical pants if you want to wear them out in the world in normal everyday stuff. Not too out there looking. Let's have a look with some stuff in them now, as I would normally go every day. First, let me start with the side pocket here. I was talking about this before. This pocket, it's pretty big. It goes all the way around here to here. And this flap here is a piece of Velcro, which I think it could do without, because this lays, it's a big flap, and it's tight, and even when you lift the Velcro up, it's pretty tight getting your hand into there. So I think you could do without that Velcro. When you try to open it, it's also pretty snug because this wraps all the way around from here to here. So I think if the pocket was a little bit smaller, it would be easier to get in there. There's a one blouse here, they'll blouse out a little bit there, and then that side pocket for the cell phone, you can go in there. The cell phone pocket goes all the way up to here in the pant, and I would prefer that it was a little bit lower just for ease of getting the phone out. Now, like I mentioned, what often happens invariably when I'm going to get into these pockets is that I put my hand, I lift up this flap, and I stick my hand in, and this little piece of Velcro, and this is the rough edge of the Velcro, folds under and irritates my finger. This is a small nitpick, I'm admitting. But it folds under, it's kind of irritating on my hands. I'm trying to reach in to get my phone out. I think, like I said, they could get rid of this piece of Velcro. The pocket would lay plenty flat, and you wouldn't have that problem. I don't always have it. Again, it's a small nitpick, but something I'd change. Otherwise, you can get in pretty easily. If you want to put some other stuff in the pockets, it will blouse out a little bit. Just to show you, throw a pair of mechanics gloves over on this other side. And there it is with those bloused out. It will fit an AR magazine. It'll stick all the way up to the top here. It'll be a little bit more sort of bulgy, but it will fit it if you need to. It fits into that sort of that cell phone pocket there. Let's have a look at the other stuff I might normally carry. A knife. Stick it back here. Again, I think I may sew this down to keep that a little bit more snug in there. Pen. Now these front pockets here, because they're snug and because the jean is cut, not the jean, the pant, is cut pretty snug overall, anything you put in your front pocket, keys and a small multi-tool, it will print a little bit. So it's not going to hide things well. And then over on this other side, a flashlight. The flashlight is also printing here. Not a huge deal, but overall I just want to show you that these pants are cut a little bit more narrow, so that if you're putting a lot of stuff in the pockets, it is going to show up a lot more than on some of the more generous cut pants. Overall, I like the pants. If I could make a few changes on them, I think I would make them just a little bit lower rise, a little bit looser cut in the front here so that you can get into the pockets a little bit easier, and so that stuff doesn't sit as snug in the pockets, doesn't print as much. The side pockets, I would make these a little bit narrower, and I would get rid of this piece of Velcro that I don't really think is needed. And I think if you got rid of all of that and made the pockets smaller, it would be a little bit easier to get into these pockets. And then would get rid of the rear D-rings. Overall, a nice pair of pants from Condor, so check these out if you're looking for yet another variation of some tactical pants.